from this moment until the heart of enlightenment is reached. I and all sentient beings as limitless as the sky go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities gathered in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas, Dakinis, protectors and defenders of the Dharma, who possess the eye of transcending awareness. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities who gather in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas, Dakinis, protectors and defenders of the Dharma who possess the eye of transcending awareness. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities gathered in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas, Dakinis, protectors and defenders of the Dharma, who possess the eye of transcending awareness. To the Buddhas, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the Buddhas, the Dhamma, the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. On the crown of my head, and all sentient beings pervading space, there rests a white lotus and a moon seed. From Hri appears the noble, all-seeing one, white, bright, and radiating 5 colored light rays, smiling charmingly and gazing with eyes of compassion. He has 4 arms, the upper 2 joined together, the lower 2 holding a white lotus and crystal rosary. He is adorned by precious jewels and silks. A deerskin covers his upper left shoulder. The Buddha, a boundless light, adorns his head. He sits in the Vajrasana. His back is supported by a stainless moon. He is the essence of all sources of refuge. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezi, I pay homage. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezi, I pay homage. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezi, I pay homage. To the Sublime One, the mighty Chenrezi, to the Buddhas and their sons, who reside in the 10 directions and the 3 times, with complete sincerity I pay homage. I offer flowers, incense, butter lamps, perfume, food, music, and other real and imaginary offerings, and so on, and beseech the noble assembly to accept them. I confess all the unskillful actions caused by the power of conflicting emotions, and the 10 unvirtuous deeds, and the 5 sins of limitless consequence done from beginningless time until now. I rejoice in the spiritual merit of whatever virtue of the Svarvakas, Pratrika Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and ordinary beings gathered throughout the 3 times. I pray that the Dharma wheel of the Mahayana, the Hinayana, and of the teachings common to both be turned in accordance with the wishes and the aptitudes of all beings. I beseech the Buddhas not to pass into nirvana, as long as samsara is not emptied, but to look with compassion upon sentient beings who wallow in the ocean of suffering. May whatever merit I have accumulated be the cause for the enlightenment of all beings. May I quickly become a splendid leader of beings. I pray to you, Lama Chenrezi. I pray to you, Yidam Chenrezi. I pray to you, perfect noble Chenrezi. I pray to you, Lord, Protector Chenrezi. I pray to you, Lord of Love, Chenrezi. Great, compassionate Victor, please hold us with your compassion. Numberless beings who wander in endless samsara experience unbearable suffering. There is no other refuge than you, Protector. Please bestow the blessings to obtain omniscient Buddhahood. By our power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings through the force of anger are born as hell beings and experience the suffer of heat and cold. May they all be born in your presence, perfect deity. Om Mane Padme. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of greed, are born in the realms of the Pretas and experience the suffering of hunger and thirst. May they all be born in your perfect realm, the Potala. Om Mane Padme. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of stupidity, are born as animals and experience the suffering of dullness and stupidity. May they all be born in your presence, Protector. Om Mane Padme. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of desire, are born in the human realm and experience the suffering of excessive activity and constant frustration. May they all be born in the pure land of Dewachen. Om Mane Padme. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of jealousy, are born in the realm of the demigods and experience the suffering of fighting and quarreling. May they all be born in your realm, the Potala. Om Mane Padme. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of pride, are born in the realm of the gods and experience the suffering of change and falling. May they all be born in your realm, the Potala. Wherever I am born, may my deeds, by equaling Chenrez's, liberate all beings from impure realms and spread the perfect sound of the 6 syllables in the 10 directions. Through the power of praying to you, perfect noble one, may all beings who I am to discipline pay the greatest attention to action and result, and diligently practice virtue and the Dharma for the benefit of all beings. Through this one-pointed prayer, light radiates from the body of the Sublime One and purifies the impure karma, impure appearances, and the deluded mind. The outer realm is the pure land of Detached, and the body, the speech, the mind of the beings therein are the perfect form, the sublime speech, and the pure mind of mighty Chenrez, the invisible union of appearance, sound, and vivid intelligence with voidness. My body, the bodies of others, and all appearances are the perfect form of the Sublime One. All sounds the melody of the 6 syllables. All thoughts the vastness of the great Shana. Through this virtue, may I quickly achieve the realization of mighty Chenrez. May I bring every single being to that same state of being. Through the merit of reciting and meditating, may I and every being to whom I am connected, when these imperfect forms are left behind, be miraculously born in Detached. And may I then immediately cross the 10 levels and send out the emanations in the 10 directions for the benefit of all others. Through this virtue, may all beings perfect the accumulations of spiritual merit and awareness. May they attain the 2 supreme bodies, which arise from merit and awareness. Bodhisattva is precious. May it arise in those who have cultivated it, and in those who have cultivated it, may it not diminish. May it ever grow, and may it ever flourish.
All right, so thank you for attending today. And that was the puja that I've been doing for many years. It's included in your CDs and the tracks for your soul therapy. And it's called Chenrez Puja. And the puja is the standard puja, the one that I always use. And it's basically taking refuge, the relationship of taking refuge in the most traditional way. It's a traditional puja. It comes right out of traditional puja books. Yeah, so it was given to me a long time ago in Oregon, and been doing that puja for since probably around 34. So that's the one that I do, the one that I recommend, and it's always been there. So those of you who have those tracks, if you don't, They're easy to come by, so just contact Shambhala and you can download it and have it for free. So there's also as many atoms, and that's also the invocation that aligns to Padmasambhava, not just taking refuge under Padmasambhava, but it's the as many atoms, the amount of prayer, and invocation, and belief in the power behind what you're going to do and how good you're going to be, and the influences of all that is that comes to you in relationship to goodness. So that particular as many atoms is a very old traditional invocation, evocation, that I call invocation, evocation, and that it's a very standard Tibetan prayer for both taking refuge. So if you listen to them, and if you I'm putting together books which will include them in it as the pujas, and so you'll be able to listen to them in my words and be able to say them in your words, and together we can do puja. We can take refuge. Yeah. So that's that's a helpful little thing that I've already put together many, many years ago, but right now I'm beginning the process of putting it into traditional Tibetan books, and I'm going to make that available during the darshan, and after that to anybody who's interested in receiving these the written form, so that you can sit and do your puja and listening to the tracks and be able to take refuge in the same way you have been for so many years, as long as you've been listening to my soul therapy. So I'm going to just go right into the meditation, and I do want to just cover one area though. The process of taking refuge. A lot of people, because they're coming from very strong sixth ray processes in their personality, and their personality can't really jump right into taking refuge and be able to know what that means. So it would be within its own personality, it would translate it into a dogmatic or a fanatical form of taking refuge. Yeah, like hiding from people, or doing things that don't include people. Like going off alone, and not taking care of things that you need to be taken care of. And just in the separative state, thinking fanatically that you need to abandon people or things or circumstances, where what is needed to be abandoned is your response to those things and circumstances. And as you change your response, that process is taking refuge. The change of response changes the karma, changes the altitude of your situation. It lifts you up, and the situation, it lifts it up. Yeah, so things work themselves out in a less chaotic process if you are more calm about all given conditions, all given, no matter what the condition is. There is no place intellectual to where you can say, well, this isn't the way it's supposed to be, because it is the way it is. So how you respond to that is Buddhism. That is the literal principles behind taking refuge and abandoning the delusionary aspects of everything outside of you is causing your problem. And that you need to get away from it, and that real truth is that it's an inner process, and that how best you deal with that is how everything will work out, and how your refuge will be. Because Dharma, the influence of the world, the influence of activity, is Buddha's plan. It's a plane in which Buddha works. It's the Christ plane. It's the energy that moves within humanity is the Holy Spirit trying to work out the plan. So it's a matter of cooperation in relationship to calmness in karma yoga. Because the only way that plan's going to get worked out is service, and it's not in a fanatical way. Every time I say something the mind pops up a fanatical interpretation of what that means. And you got to look at it in a totally different second ray way. And even if you study second ray, you're going to interpret that in a sixth ray way. So I'm just saying in this, what I'm trying to say is that just be aware of the fact that your mind is not going to teach you or tell you or illustrate the circumstance that you're going through. Trying to teach yourself Buddhism doesn't work. Trying to quote things that come from very high teachers who actually have worked out this crap, and are saying things spontaneously from their own interreactions of their own enlightenment. And so it's using quotes and using things inside the brain, thinking that is you've made it to some kind of point of Buddhahood. It's not. That is not how it works. The teaching is the teaching. It is an auspicious opportunity to hear and understand or be in relationship to higher teaching. So when it does come in, when I give teachings, it's mainly to not be quoted, but it's mainly to be understood that this is a science, that it's evolution, that there is a science and a law that governs how things work out. And if we go with the law of love, and you can't look at it through a sixth ray, the force, the will, the intellect, and all the things that come with those lower natures, is what we're taking refuge into the fact that there is Buddha, which is above you. And so if you take refuge, you gotta take right relationship to what's going on in your life. And do it at the best you possibly can. Wash those dishes clean. Make that food good. Don't burn anything. Be unemotional. Make sure that everything that is being done with kindness. To yourself, to the environment, to everything. Any amount of self-centeredness, and it immediately switches it around, pulling that solar plex and all the activities and actions that go on in the world into a despondent, negative, suspicious, distrustful scenario. And it may or may not be, but that certainly isn't the way to look at life. So if one is taking refuge, then they're doing their best to kind of filter that through their mind that makes that problem, because it's a matter of changing the causal. So if you understand what I'm saying, that it's in the mind that causes the inner turmoil, not from outside. So the response is an inner teaching, and let that response be recognized and let go of. And let the Buddha reality, let Buddhas, so many, and all the relationships of the Dakini lower nature and the higher nature and the influence of Buddha, Bodhisattva, and its influence on the lower nature and mind and all those things, let them blend together. Take relationship to the world of the etheric reality that manifests from the hierarchy, and the auspiciousness that comes from that realm, from that experience. And it's not a fictitious, delusionary fantasy of angels in the sky or something. It's the potential inside of every living human being. And some are meeting it, some are not. So the more we do to take refuge and recapitulate and take responsibility and bring back all the calm, beautiful bliss that we bring to ourselves and to the environment, is only done through karma yoga, through kindness and caring and sharing and receiving and giving, and those influences which bring about the higher with the lower. It allows you to tackle those pairs of opposites. It allows you to tackle how do I fix this? The only way you fix it is by your experience of joy, by your experience of an elevated state of happiness, and the experience of like when you're a child, when you're playing with something or you're doing something, it has that enormous magnetic, oh God, I'm having a good time, and all the things that are connected to it are associated with higher sensory perception. Yeah. So when those kind of experiences come in, those are part of the relationship that's coming from your karma. It's coming from the stimulation of higher centers rather than the lower centers. So the key is connect to these beings, connect to the Rinpoche reality, connect to the recapitulation that happened and is happening on the higher levels. Yeah? And it is influencing the world. And as we take refuge to that, we'll come closer and closer in contact with that hierarchy and be able to have a greater transition in our personality into an ashramic world. Yeah? So it's a real big separation between humanity and the hierarchy. And that only happens because of the lack of refuge, taking refuge. Because when we do take refuge, we're actually calling Christ, we're calling Buddha, we're calling all of the creation of saints and manifestations of previous lives, having them come closer and closer to the present moment. Because everything is history. Yeah, so those previous lives had lives. It's all a matter if recapitulation takes place, then we could surface that more now in the moment, rather than look back at it as periods of cycles of sainthood that took place in history that we have some recognition of, but that's the only thing we can go on. Yeah. So the key is the fact that sainthood exists, that the reality of evolution in higher spiritual reality of Christ, God, Buddha, those influences of understanding that it's embodied inside of a person, and that as it embodies inside the person, that person changes into a soulful being, which is 100,000,000% different than a personality being. Yeah. So that relationship of love and that relationship of the law of love is what governs that person from here on out. It's spontaneous. It's nature. It is a very powerful force of chi and higher energy that comes from hierarchy and is allowed on earth and allowed to radiate out as a sharing of merit. And the better you do, the more you do, the kinder you are, the more generous you are, the more merit you bestow into the world. And that's the only way you're going to change it. Yeah. So let's meditate. So start the invocation. Okay, going to start the invocation in just a second. Okay, just repeat after me the invocation, and we'll begin. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. To this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. all in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. Now I'm just going to take a deep breath. Check this. Om. Little high. Om. There you go. Okay. Now, just take a deep breath, and remember we're doing a 20-minute Om, and the Om is a standard Om. We're going to do it 10 seconds in and 10 seconds out, and the focus is just to keep along with me, and I'm going to be doing Tibetan bowls at the same time. So just focus on your breath, focus on your Om, make sound, get a vibration going, try and get it to sound good, yeah, and don't do too much anxiety in the process of your breathing. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out, so you'll last that 8 to 10 seconds. Yeah? And if you can't, don't worry about it. Yeah, just continue taking little breaths until we get back to the Om. Yeah? Okay. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, just relax. So I'm going to end just with a little bit of teaching and to kind of fill in as to what I was talking about, the taking refuge, the relationship of how that happens, and what allows a person to actually accumulate merit and the process of taking refuge, which is the purpose of it. And it's not for personal merit, because in the process, you're actually hoping that that merit also is benefiting others by that merit being offered to other people by your kindness. Every action has a element to it, and an action of kindness requires your merit to be brought up. And when it happens, it actually impresses. It brings merit into things, people, persons, food, into life. So, but you have to be in a place in which you're doing this in your process as a better person every day, every moment. Because it's always a struggle. It's always difficult. But the opportunities that come are the relationships is how you're going to handle it. So it's all a matter of having those opportunities receive good mind, good thoughts, good impression, good feelings, not rock and roll, not, watching wrestling or things of that nature, because those things inherit influences inside of you. And so if you move toward things that help to foster, but you help you better understand your kindness, to better understand the process of kindness in the world, the process of the benefit of the kindness that is in the world. In witnessing that and having taken refuge, you sponsor that, you support it, and it helps manifest more and more. But that refuge is taken within your immediate area, within what you do, who you call, what you do, where you go, the influences that you have on a day-to-day basis, and your personal relationship to your own self. You keep yourself tidy, you stay hygiene, you do things, eat right. Those things are part and parcel of taking care of the whole of your opportunity. You have a body, you have a life, you have a place you live, you have people that you might be with. Those things are all part of your opportunity. So never separate yourself from it or think that it's of anything that's separate. It is the opportunity, and everybody needs to receive kindness and generosity without the expectation of receiving back kindness and generosity. It's going to happen. But the element is in the process of battling the degree of distrust and the degree of things that go on inside the emotional body and old habits that are still there. And those come up when you're talking to people, or you're in a state of conversation. You can choose to go negative, or you can choose to go positive. If you choose to go negative, you bring back those elements into your being. And if you choose to stop that, or change the subject, or anything that allows it to stay in a higher place, even in working out a difficulty, staying in a higher place is the best way. So it's all about turning the wheel of Dharma, and it's push. It's not that Dharma wheel turns. It is a matter of, because it's turning left, you want to push it the other way. So it's two wheels, one pushing right, one pushing left, and you want to turn it so that it does have an effect on the left-hand spin. And then in time, that left-hand spin begins a spontaneous interaction in its relationship and more of a harmonic engagement of what goes on in the world. People are taken care of. There is less poverty. There is less war. All those things are the influence of turning the wheel of Dharma against the wheel of karma. So it's all through karma yoga. It's all through right relationship and taking refuge. If you do karma yoga, you're doing it because you know God exists and you know that God wants you to be good and that you're not going to get anything out of life and nothing's going to change. What if you get all depressed and you want to commit suicide? Well, every thought you do of that builds about 1,000 elements of force that comes back in the body that supports it when it comes back up next time. So the key is to understand what I just said, and relate to that so that when it does happen, you can relate back to the higher mind of relationship of what's going on and try and do one's best not to enter that subject, not to have that process go on. Because if one does take their life during life in a state of despondency and all the things that go on in their life, all those things are multiplied by multiple levels. And when you reincarnate, that is manifested. And that's why the world looks so chaotic and so barbaric and so destructive in many different regions of the world, is because many people commit suicide. Many people do things in order to harm themselves or harm other people. And they create worse karma and they manifest back incarnated with worse karma. Yeah, it's the same as if you go into wanting to be a movie star, you want to be a rock star, you want to be anything in the fame area. It's because of previous life bullshit, and that energy is pulling people into their reality, into what used to be a karmic reality. And it leads them into worse elemental disfiguration in the process of their next life. Yeah, because they don't fit into the light, and they become the process against the wall of light. Yeah, and no one wants to end up in that. No one wants to end up in the process of having to be the last person to realize God exists and be in relationship of receiving the benefit of that. Yeah, so it's best to turn your will. Yeah, stop suicide, stop the relationship of all those engaging processes that are the hooks of life, from manifesting. And it's not from outside; it's from inside. Yeah, so all of taking refuge is in the reality of realizing that all the mind is the cause of the process, and all the mind is the root of the process, and all the mind is the way out. Yeah? So it's not intellectual, it's abandoning spontaneous processes that a person has in themselves of response. And how they as an individual respond is elementals that are inside or elementals that are karmically surrounding the influence and need to be changed. And the only way it's going to be done is in a peaceful fashion. Yeah, because it doesn't exist. None of it. It's just past. It's just energy. It's a conglomeration of really bad shit that happened in the past. And every opportunity is the opportunity to face life head on and realize that this is all past bullshit. And it has no reality in the moment. And all those energies of thoughts and everything that goes on, even the conflicts that go on, are part of that. And it'll all get better if I look at it that way and be disconnected in that way, knowing that all I really have to do is take refuge and stay in that state. Yeah? And keep that going. Take refuge daily, do your meditations daily. Yeah, and know that it is a day-to-day thing. As long as you're alive, forever when you're alive, and you're always going to be reincarnating. So it's much better to reincarnate into sainthood rather than past life bullshit of Hollywood stardom. Yeah, so move forward. Yeah, and allow the influences of what's going on in the world, what the reality of Christ is, and the externalization of humanity's saving of their own self in their own reality. Taking refuge is the one thing that's going to start this thing moving in a way in which no one ever imagined. And it's by supporting the influence of the beginning of Buddha nature in all humanity. Yeah? All right? So, thank you very much for attending, and I hope you had a good time, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.